Hello, class. Welcome to sort of a Zoom intro. I thought for those of you who either may need a refresher or maybe have not used Zoom before, it was a good idea to give you just some idea of what it looks like and some of the functionalities of it. This doesn't exactly look the way Zoom normally would because, of course, if we were meeting as a group, there would be many of us on the screen, or at least icons for us on the screen in a checkerboard fashion that for people my age looks like Brady Bunch at the beginning. But anyway, so just for our purposes, here's what it looks like on my screen. I'm recording this the way I will all of our class meetings. You're joining the Zoom discussions means that you will be agreeing to be recorded. The idea there is that I want to make sure that I can then make recordings of our Zoom meetings available for anyone who may not have been able to come to the session, or for you later to go back if you need to take notes or just remind yourself of things that we said. Okay, so as you're coming on to Zoom, there's a bunch of things that you should know. First of all is that you'll be first placed in a waiting room before you actually can join our Zoom group. That's by design, so I can make sure that everybody who's coming in are actually people who are supposed to be there. That way I can say hi to you as you come in. You'll be muted as you come in. That way I can sort of control some of the sound and the cacophony. If you do want to speak, raise your hand or ask a question, that sort of thing, there are ways that you can do that, and then I can unmute you so you can ask a question. Or if we're going to have some sort of group chat or whatever, then I'll unmute everybody, or I'll unmute specific people. You have the choice of not using your video. If, for example, you're not excited about having your face on the screen for our recordings, that's perfectly fine. So then you could just have your name on the screen, and that's fine. Or you could go back and forth between that as you desire. There's a chat function. The chat function looks like this. I'm going to get that off in a second. It At other times it would appear on the right side of the screen when we're not on the full screen. That allows you to communicate with the whole group, and I will keep an eye on that during our Zoom meetings. You can also separate out and just individually discuss with people. I do ask you to keep the chat use to a minimum because I find it distracting, and I feel that other students may find it distracting as well, but it is there. Um, there's an opportunity for you to do what are called reactions. So if something went well, feel free to throw a little exclamation point there. It's like an emoji or a thumbs up. And that's also a way that you can get my attention if you need to get me to make sure that I respond to something that you needed, or to raise your hand if I'm asking for people to volunteer for something or whatever. And then we also have what are called breakout rooms. So in addition to our whole group, I can break you up into groups. So if we're going to be doing things like group discussions or group projects um, during our Zoom meetings, then I can do that. And the cool thing about that is that the Zoom just randomizes who you're with. So you will get to know different people in the class when we do things like that, which we won't do a lot, but we will do sometimes. Um, yeah, so I think those are the main functionalities. Now, what I want to show you also is some of the things that you'll get to see during the period when I'm actually using Zoom to present. So I'm screen sharing now, and that's something that I'll be able to control. Most of the time, it'll just be me who'll be able to share their screen. There'll be other times when perhaps I may have presentations or whatever, and then I will give you individually the ability to share your screen and to show us things. So this example here is there's a very famous speech by Frederick Douglass, the well-known African-American abolitionist of the 1800s. And so earlier in 2020, there was a project where a bunch of his descendants were asked to deliver this speech. It's a very famous speech about the 4th of July and what that means to African Americans. So this is an example. We might do is we might all get together as a group. I might share my screen, and I probably would blow this up so it takes up the full screen. We might watch this thing together. It's 7 minutes long, and then afterwards, either that would then lead me into another topic, or maybe we would discuss that as a group or in small groups, and then go back from there. Another possibility is that we might, if I'm giving a lecture and I want to show you a PowerPoint, um, so let's look at this one for the American Revolution right here. It comes up, there we go. Um, in times when I might be showing something about the American Revolution, here we go right here. Okay, be good if I got that right. Um, yeah, to share the screen there. Here we go. So here's the PowerPoint for the American Revolution. And so what you can see is that I'll be able to then walk you through this PowerPoint, and what most of our class discussions will be. These will be the same lectures and the same PowerPoints that you'll have access to during the week. And what I intend to do is to go through them in a much more abbreviated fashion to discuss the specific topics, the most important sequence of events, and to make sure we all understand the key concepts. And then after that, then we will have discussion of some of those things. We may interrupt in the middle. This way, you can actually ask me the questions that you would have had to ask me along the way that you couldn't have done when you're watching it asynchronously. So in this case, it's 52 slides. And so I'll do that much more quickly than I would have if you're watching the videos, which you're going to be doing separately. Okay, so and this is a pretty classical PowerPoint that you could then see. Okay, that gives you some idea, I think, of what it is that we're going to be doing. So we will be meeting every Monday and Wednesday night through the semester. The two exceptions are the night of the midterm. That day you'll be taking your midterm, so we won't have a class discussion. And then the day before Thanksgiving, might look like there's supposed to be a day on the schedule, but actually Montgomery College is closed that day, so we don't have a class meeting either. Other than that, every Monday or Wednesday through the rest of the semester, we'll meet via Zoom. Use that same link you used that's all over the Blackboard site in multiple places, and that will get you to our Zoom sessions. It's a great idea to get in a little bit early so you have time to make sure that your hookup is good and that everything technical is working fine. And other than that, I look forward to seeing you. Look, it should be a great semester.